In the fall of 2008, I was hired by Patricia Spielman at the Southern Theater in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Historic 102-year-old space in Seven Corners neighborhood of Minneapolis. Longtime dance and theater performance space and kind of a cultural icon for the performing arts scene here in the Twin Cities. I was brought in specifically as the production manager, and the main task for me at the time was to fix a tech department that had gone awry. Turnover was incredibly high, about every 6 months. There were many challenges. Artists were very disappointed with both the quality of the technical support and the billing on the back end from a lack of good reporting and amongst other things. Unbeknownst to myself, there were many more monstrous challenges that awaited at the Southern, and many because of a long history of poor business decisions. I would learn a lot in my first couple of months, and I would make some major mistakes and learn a lot of humility. Nothing is worse than having an Excel file in which you think you have the right billing information, only to realize after you've sent it to the artist that there's a major error in it and they owe a lot more money than what they had anticipated. So those were the kinds of things that were happening. But in the first year and a half to 2 years, we cleaned a lot. I was able to secure 2 full-time positions under me, and in the 4 years that followed, we didn't lose a single person between the 3 of us. No turnover, which was great. I learned a lot about the cost of subsidization. The Southern provided a vast amount of resources to artists, from marketing support in the form of press releases and print marketing, digital marketing, to full box office support, to tech support, most of which was covered, some of which was paid for, and just the natural resources of the space, from lights to sound to heating and air conditioning, and how hard it was to help the artists understand the value of those, at the same time earn enough money to keep those things available to artists. And what I saw over 4 years was a schism emerge between artists and administrative staff, which I don't think is something that is unusual in many performing arts spaces, unfortunately, nowadays. I also learned a lot about interpolitics between boards and staff and executive directors. There was a lot of leadership issues at the Southern in my time there. In late 2009, early 2010, I was promoted to an operations manager and held an interim executive director position while we found a new executive director as we were transitioning. And I also learned the value of confronting problems early and often. I think some of the issues that I had at the Southern could have been addressed by doing that earlier. In 2011, the Southern suffered a pretty major financial collapse. We laid off 9 of the 10 staff and shut down our curated operations permanently and opened as a rental venue about 3 months after the initial collapse. At the time, I was participating in a program, the James P. Shannon Leadership Institute, a year-long introspective values program through the Wilder Foundation, of which I'm incredibly grateful to have been a part of. And it was after one session that I really chose to do something different with my life when I had a major shift in the perception of things. At the time leading up to that moment of the financial collapse, I really was waiting to be laid off and was looking forward to it. I was tired of the drama, tired of the challenge, tired of where I was. And I left and realized that if I took on the role of running the Southern solely, and if I could make the numbers work, I could make something happen. And I started to view it not as being stuck there running a rental venue for who knows how many years, but instead as an opportunity to start from scratch and rebuild the organization as the leader, and in a way that I saw, and in a way to change the fundamental nature of how institutions in the performing arts could work. And that is really my current goal at the Southern. I've grown greatly since that decision and since accepting that responsibility. I've learned a mass amount of patience and confidence. I've learned a lot about nonprofit accounting and metrics and analysis. And I've also learned about ownership, and I've learned about balance. I am now the sole staff member and executive director of the Southern Theater. I'm incredibly proud of the work that we have done over the last 2 years to make the theater what it is right now, which is stable and a community resource to our artists. And I'm incredibly excited about what the future holds as we develop a new idea and new program for the Southern that we have called Project ArtShare. If you'd like more information about Project ArtShare, please do feel free to get in touch with me directly. I'm happy to talk about it, and I'm happy to talk about the artists who are working on building that, as we have dubbed them, the League of Extraordinary Artists. Local artists who are excited about the future potential of the Southern, and as excited as I am. So thank you very much for your time on this, a digital resume.